Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Zaid Al-Mahdali from Nama Foundation. Welcome to Nama Podcast, the first edition. Alhamdulillah, today we are very, very excited to start our first Nama Podcast with the aim of really bringing the stories that Nama have in our ecosystem to all of you so that we can access and we can exchange ideas and collaborate more, inshallah. So today, we are very honored and we're very privileged to have a very honorable guest with us, none other than Tuan Haji Kamarul Zaman from MyCARE. Alhamdulillah, a bit of introduction of what our esteemed guest, Tuan Haji. Of course, I heard from our team that Tuan Haji, we call Tuan Haji KZ, right, from the ecosystem. MashaAllah, Tuan Haji has more than 25 years of experience, not just in NGO but also in MNCs. Tuan Haji spent many years in many companies in the MNC, and after a certain period went into the NGO scene. Of course, with Humanitarian Care Malaysia, which currently known as MyCARE. So welcome, Tuan Haji, to Nama Podcast.
Thank you for the invite.
Alhamdulillah. So Tuan Haji, we were reading a lot about your bio and getting to know more about Tuan Haji, and one thing that I was wondering or I wanted to know is that after your career in the MNCs and in many years, what really was there a calling or what really brought you to now contribute to one of the biggest NGOs in Malaysia, globally as well?
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Interesting question. During my student days, I was involved in Islamic NGOs, student organization. In fact, in my UTM years, I was also one of the student leaders, Majlis Perwakilan Pelajar, as they were called it at that point of time. So we were involved, and then when I continued my studies in the US, so we were involved in students' organization as well. So one of the things that we took the advantage at that point of time is to organize ourselves, manage. So we practice and we did a lot of activities outside the lecture halls. Time management, for instance, program management. So a lot of things that we learned from there. So when I started working, and when I came back from the States, I started working with National Semiconductor first, and then later I joined Motorola. So most of the things that we learned during our student days helps a lot in our working life. Yeah. But I was still involved in the NGOs at that point of time. So at one point of time, we were striving hard when the whole network was done. I was involved in telecommunication as well. One of the our customers' network were down, so we have got to work. And later that night, I've got to spend my life with the NGOs as well. So it helps me a lot in managing the time. So until when I reached 50, I started thinking, and then I opted for early retirement. Okay. At 50. So both me and my wife were discussing what to do next. So since our life when we were involved in student activities and then NGOs as well, so we felt that it's not easy for me after completing my years of working in multinational with a highly paid salary at the point of time to get the same salary outside. It's not that easy. So I got scholarships during my student days, and while working with Motorola, they paid for my master's program as well. So to me, it's a payback time. Why don't you share your experiences with others, with the younger generation, and then I've settled most of my loan at 50, so there's nothing much for us to look for. So why don't you support and help with the experience we have had, and the experience basically to work into NGOs and strengthen the organization, because it's a payback time for me.
MashaAllah, Tuan Haji, I think one of the things that us even at Nama always believe in the importance of governance, even in NGO, right? And I think one of the biggest reasons that MyCARE is where it is now is because having, for example, Tuan Haji, which is with your experience in governance from MNCs, professional management, right? Going into MyCARE. And I think that really strengthened, and what in the result is what MyCARE is now today. So mashallah for that. And Tuan Haji, I already read up a lot about you, and I've seen a lot of places that you've been. Even you just mentioned that you just got back from Thailand yesterday, right? I know that you've been to Gaza in 2013, and if you also went to Syria in 2014 as well during that period. Uh, and not only that, even MyCARE itself, they were one of the NGOs that were there to help during the tsunami 2004 Aceh, and also was there during the Syria Turkey earthquake as well. So I think Zohaji, not many NGOs are really able to access some of these places that need help. I think, and it's not easy as well for NGOs to position itself that is able to help and access all these places. Do you think, Tuan Haji, that Malaysia itself, due to its geopolitical or diplomacy ties and everything, it allows a lot of our NGOs that are credible enough to really be in the forefront or to access many of these areas that need help?
Okay. Current situation does trigger a lot of younger generations to establish NGOs. You know now that there are many humanitarian NGOs in Malaysia trying to play their role in supporting others as well. So of course, uh, in managing the organization, in managing support outside as well, we have got to follow the rules and regulation or laws of that particular country. Going into that country, you have got to have approvals before going in. Going into the country, you have got to make sure that you are being supported well before going in. There were many incidences where Malaysians, because of the uh, because them wanting to help, some of them just manage things themselves without honoring the rules and regulation and the laws of that certain countries. So some, in fact, went through. uh, they did not go through the immigration. They go through certain channels to get into the country, and when they were caught, it create a lot of difficulties, diplomatic ties between those countries as well. So some of the NGOs went through that way, but MyCare, we have got to honor all the rules and regulation of the country. Humanitarian NGOs working in any areas of any region in the world, you have got to honor and respect the rules and law of that particular country. Going into that country, you have got to have approval. You have got to make sure every time you visit overseas, going for a mission, you have got to register yourself with our own foreign affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, so that they will know your whereabouts. If there are issues happening or whatsoever, they will know who and when to contact. So yes, even in the recent incidences where we were involved in the flotilla, so we have got to make sure that our foreign ministry is aware of our whereabouts, where are we going, when we will be going, or how many numbers of people. So this is to ensure of the governance and the transparency. We have got to be very clear on that one. Because we have many experiences before when during the Syrian war, you have Malaysians going on their own inside Syria, and currently some of the family members are having difficulties because what nationalities are they now? Either they're Syrians or Malaysians. So those are things that we have got to make sure before supporting, before getting deeper into this help. We have got to make sure your organizations are very well equipped with rules and laws and regulations of whatever, which your own country first, and then the other countries that you are supporting. So that when anything happens, of course, you will be supported by your government.
Definitely, definitely. I think you mentioned just now about the efforts of MyCare with Flotilla. I think that's something that a lot of people really want to know more about, right? Maybe Tuan Haji, you could share to our viewers how was it? How did it start? How did MyCare end up being part of it? Dr. Fauzia and many of MyCare members were there. How did MyCare end up being part of it?
Of course, all NGOs, the main aim is to be able to be recognized anywhere in the world. And to be able to be recognized, you have got to show your strength and who you are legally, and your strength and governance, in fact, on every angle. Okay. We were lucky in 2010 when we started. Before MyCare, we were named as Aqsa Sharif, focusing only on the Palestinian issue. So in 2010, there were calls from Turkey, from all over the world, saying that there's a big mission going to break the blockade of Gaza through a mission, a big ship called Mavi Marvara. Okay. So with along with Mavi Marvara, there were 4 or 5 ships as well from the US, others to go and trying to break the blockade. So we know what had happened in 2010. We have 2 board of trustees of MyCARE on the board. Yep. And then after the incidences, we were then contacted again in 2016 when there was a mission for women's boat to Gaza. We had 2 ladies, Dr. Fauzi and Nosham, were supposed to be on the boat. But one of the boat they were sabotaged and couldn't make it. So only Dr. Fauzia was allowed to be on the boat. 13 ladies on the boat, sailing from Barcelona through Ajaccio, through Sicily, and to Gaza. So just within 35 nautical miles away from the shores of Gaza, they were intercepted by the Israeli Navy. So that was in 2016. Because of that, in late 2016-17, we were then invited for a post-mortem meeting. So during that post-mortem, we were then officially invited to be part of the steering committee of Freedom Flotilla Coalition. And since then, we never looked back. So we were there in every meeting, every phone calls, every conferences, and so forth to discuss and decide when and how should we plan our next mission and so forth. So then we had another mission in 2018, and then because of COVID, we stopped in 2010, 2022, 2024. We tried with 4 big boats, big ships, and then 2025 it was the mission again. So all in all, Freedom Flotilla Coalition, they have mobilized about 38 ships since 2008 initially. So inshallah, next few days we will be flying off to Ireland for a steering committee
on the
face-to-face meeting.
Okay.
And then for the post-mortem of the recent sales, and also how and what to do in the next year maybe. So again we are looking at how can we work together, Freedom Flotilla Coalition, and we have Global Sumo Flotilla, we have 1,000 Medlins to Gaza. So how can we work together and mobilize the effort to really try to make an effort to break the siege of Gaza?
I think that's something interesting because not many people know that this has been planned for almost a decade, more than a decade. A lot of people think that it's something new and everything, right? So MyCARE has always been there from the start, and I think that's something Malaysians or even ASEAN or Nusantara to be very proud of as well, knowing that our NGO were part of this global movement that really made an impact in Gaza. Tuan Haji, these shows, especially in the flotilla, that sometimes a lot of these initiatives by NGOs are not just reactive. A lot of them are strategic and long-term initiatives with a very clear direction, right? A lot of people have this perception that NGOs sometimes are only reactive in terms of disasters and everything. How would you say MyCARE in its positioning on its long-term strategic initiatives, whether it's in infrastructure or whether it's in preparation? Maybe you could share with us, those that are not so active or doesn't know much about this NGO scene, how do MyCARE really position itself for its long-term initiatives?
One statement that I would like to share is like the phrase of converting issues into opportunities.
Okay.
So what are the issues that we are facing now, and how can we convert them into opportunities? How can you strengthen yourself or plan yourself towards acting towards improving on whatever issues that we are facing? We just don't accept issues. Issues are being issues, but we are trying to overcome the issues, opportunities, and how can we prevent those things from not happening again?
Yep.
Okay, so for MyCARE, we have 4 objectives of MyCARE. The first one is to educate the public on what is the actual issues or happenings on the ground. Okay. So we wouldn't approach the public without educating them on the actual issues on and how can we help to overcome those issues. So that's the main of the first objective. Of course, the second one will come into next will be how can we help or solve those issues. Are there funding needed? Are there manpower needed or whatsoever? So we have got to work. Then the third comes, of course, we cannot do it by ourselves.
Yep.
So we have got to deal with partners on the ground. So how you identify your partners, who they are. We learn through the process of we were involved in the Financial Action Task Force audit in 2000, late 2014. Malaysia as a country was audited on how they managed the fund to be sent outside the country. Uh, the two main things that they were auditing is with regards to AMLA, anti-money laundering activities, and financing terrorism. So Malaysia as a country was audited. We were lucky because we were involved in that audit as well. We were selected, we were reviewed, we were audited by SSM first, and then Bank Negara, and then they were happy with the way we managed our organization. Then we were invited for the audit. In the audit, we took the advantage of learning. It is not us to be screened or reviewed, but from the questions that they ask, we know there are areas of improvement that we should be doing in our organization. So we improve further. So we strengthen the organization. So of course, there are so many things that we can learn. Again, looking at issues, looking at situation, and how we can improve for further. Like they used to say in the manufacturing world, Kaizen, the Chinese concept of Kaizen, continuous improvement. So those are the things that we should be looking at. No individuals or no organization are perfect. So whatever that your daily processes, your daily integrating with people, public organization, you should look at opportunities on how you can improve your organizations to move forward. So I think those are the main ingredients that MyCARE are looking. We are continuously improving. We have our SOPs, but how can we improve further so that wouldn't want to be caught in a situation where we were caught off guard, or we would like to state to make a statement that we have got to honor the law in whichever country that you work on, and how to move forward, inshallah.
I think this mindset that Tuan Haji mentioned about this Kaizen, I think it's really interesting, because even at Nama, that is one of the very important elements that we really think NGO should uphold. And you mentioned that the task force that MyCARE was being audited, right? Part of BNM, and you were a member of that at the time. I think having that thinking of the importance of SOPs and procedures really allows us to have these kind of strategic and long-term initiatives rather than just being prepared whenever disaster comes, right? So Haji, with your experiences for more than a decade, many years in MyCARE, you've been to many disaster areas, seeing all these things that's been happening on the ground, right? Even for us who sees all this just on our social media, we are very much affected by all this, seeing all this disaster. Maybe, Tonaji, do you have any personal anecdotes that you would like to share? Any situations that happened or things that you saw that really shifted or really taught you certain lessons during your experiences on the ground?
Okay. Many incidences in most of the missions will does educate any individuals. Yeah. One thing that touched me the most was when I visited Gaza. It was in 2013, March 2013. It was winter, and then we had the opportunity to go around and witness the security, how they manage the security of their country, their borders on sea and land, by the hillside and so forth. So we visited a place where they were maintaining their shores from probably Israeli coming in trying to kidnap their leaders. So it was late at night. It was very cold, and when we visited the place, they welcomed us very much. But they came with sandals without shoes, with socks and sandals, with light clothes. They are not dressed properly for winter actually. Yeah. So it touched me very much. So I told the guy who was managing their border at the point of time, I told them, please take care of your country very well. You have done your job very well. Take care of your leaders. We will take care of your family members. You don't have to worry about your family members. What they need for food, what they need for their education, what they need for their medication. So all those things will take care of your family. So you just manage manage your countries very well, take care of it, and inshallah will help you very much. So because they were not dressed properly. They were not dressed for the winter. They were not dressed as someone to defend their country from uh, from the Israeli navies and so forth. So it touched me very much at the point of time. So I've made a commitment that I will be very involved in supporting the Palestinian issues, and inshallah one day Palestinians will be free.
Inshallah. Tuan Haji, sometimes, especially in these disaster areas or even in Gaza, especially even without adequate or complete proper equipments or resources, they do what they can. And same with us as well. I mean, Allah reward you and them as well for all the efforts that you've done. Tuan Haji, we've come to the end of our session, of our sharing. Before we conclude, Tuan Haji, looking at this current situation of the NGO scene or the global crisis that seems to be compounding by day, right? Seems to be happening more and more. Um, Malaysia or the youth out there, with some wanting to, as you mentioned, start NGOs on themselves, some wanting to be personal change makers. What advice do you have to share to them on guiding the light forward as someone very seasoned in this industry or in this field?
Either working independently or working as an organization, or you have got to uphold the laws. That's the first thing. You have got to very strict about governance and transparency of running your organization. We wouldn't want our organization or our work can be a fitnah to the other NGOs, because many NGOs were affected with the development of certain NGOs recently. People are questioning whether funds has reached, or how you manage the funds, how you handle the funds. So, of course, we wouldn't want to be in the position because of us, the trust towards the NGOs will diminish or will be affected. So we have got to make sure you are the one, your organizations are the one championing or adhering or making to ensure that you are working according to the law and rules and regulations, so that inshallah in terms of governance, in terms of transparency, in terms of ethics, make sure you play that role in enhancing and making sure it is there, rather than trying to take advantage of the situation. That's all I have to say.
MashaAllah, Tuan Haji, I think what you're saying definitely is for those young change makers out there, right? It's very important as well when you want to do good or you want to help others. First, to of course always implement the elements of ihsan, right? In excellence in what we do, and excellence do include proper governance, all this preparation to ensure trust and legitimacy is there, right? And that will actually multitude or increase the impact that we do. And may Allah accept all your efforts that you've been doing at MyCARE and your team members, and may He ease all of the efforts that you've been doing. And we thank you very much, Tuan Haji, for making time to come to our office and to share with our viewers. And hopefully, we will see you more soon. And all the best for all the MyCARE programs.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Jazakallah.
Share.
Thank you so much, Tuan Haji. Assalamualaikum.